All right. Let's get those brain cells firing up, folks, because today we're taking a deep dive.
A deep dive.
Into Francisco Varela's paper. Not one, not two.
It's a good one.
It's a dense one.
It is, yeah.
But it's a good one. Full of really interesting ideas. Now,
what's super interesting is where this paper came from.
Ooh.
It was actually for a conference on mind-body dualism back in 1976. And get this, it was organized by Stuart Brand and Gregory Bateson.
Wow, that is a power team right there.
Yeah.
So we're dealing with some
heavy hitters.
Serious intellectual heavy hitters.
Big time.
Big time. Okay, so not one, not two. What is that all about?
So picture this. A room full of brilliant minds at the Green Gulch Zen Center.
I love that.
Trying to figure out, right, this age-old question, how mind and body relate.
Yeah.
That's where Varela's paper comes in.
Okay, so there's this conference. Yeah. All these brilliant minds. Were they all on the same page about this?
Well, not necessarily. Gregory Bateson, he was kind of like the, the main organizer.
Yeah.
He laid out these 5 points in his invitation to the conference.
Interesting.
That he felt were essential for a productive discussion.
Okay.
And these ideas, like the concept of recursive systems, the role of the observer, they're all over Varela's work, too.
Interesting. Okay, so Bateson kind of sets the stage.
Yeah, he sets the stage.
So what were these 5 points?
Okay, so first up, recursive systems.
Right.
Elements are interconnected and influence each other in a circular way.
Okay.
It's like a spider web. You tug on one strand, the whole thing vibrates.
The whole thing, yeah.
That's recursion.
Okay, so everything's connected.
Everything's connected.
And those connections, they matter.
They matter.
What else?
Point number 2, the biosphere.
Ooh.
Prime example of a recursive system.
Okay.
Everything on Earth, interconnected.
Right.
From the smallest microorganism to the vast oceans.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. What was the third point?
Information.
Okay.
But Bateson, he argued that information is really about the differences that make a difference.
So not just like data.
Right.
It's how that data changes.
It changes things.
Our understanding, our actions.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I like that. It's concise.
It is.
Gets to the heart of it.
Right to the point.
Good. 2 more points.
2 more. Lay it on me.
All right. The observer.
Okay.
Huge. Bateson emphasized that these principles of recursion information they apply not just to what we observe, but to us.
To us, the observers.
As observers, we are part of the system.
Not separate.
Not separate. We're in it.
We're in it.
Okay, so we're not just watching this happen.
No.
We are actively shaping
it.
The world through our observations. That is powerful stuff.
It is, yeah.
Okay, last point. What is it?
Ethics and responsibility.
Ooh.
Yeah. So Bateson, he was really adamant that understanding these interconnected systems, it's not enough.
Right.
We have a responsibility, right.
To act.
And to act ethically and to consider the consequences.
Of our actions.
Of our actions.
Yeah. Okay, so Bateson laid down some serious groundwork here.
He did.
Okay, so now let's bring in Francisco Varela.
Yes.
Not one, not two.
Not one, not two.
Why that title? I mean, it's a little cryptic.
It is a little cryptic.
A little mysterious.
It's a good one, though. It comes from Zen Buddhism.
Okay.
Not one, not two. It's used to describe the full lotus posture in meditation. Legs are crossed in a way that makes them both 2 and 1.
Hold on.
Yeah.
So you're saying it's about holding 2
seemingly opposite
ideas
at the same time.
At the same time.
Okay.
Suzuki Roshi, great Zen teacher.
Yeah.
He put it beautifully.
How so?
He said, our body and mind are both 2 and 1.
Okay, so I see where Varela's going with this.
Yeah. He's talking about looking beyond those.
Beyond the binary
distinctions, like mind versus body.
Exactly.
And seeing how these seemingly opposite concepts are actually intertwined.
They're trying. Interdependent.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
Challenging us to think differently, to move beyond those dualistic frameworks.
Okay, so how do we do that? What tools does he give us?
Well, he introduces this thing called star notation.
Okay.
It's simple. It's just a slash.
Okay.
But it represents a huge shift in thinking.
Okay.
So when Varela writes AB, he's saying consider A.
Okay.
And the process leading to A, which also involves B.
Okay, so it's not just about like looking at the thing itself.
Right.
It's about the whole process.
The dynamic process.
That creates it.
That creates it.
Okay.
Like think of a cake.
Okay.
It's not just the finished product.
Yeah.
It's the ingredients, the recipe, The baking.
The whole thing.
The whole shebang.
That brought it into being.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah. And to illustrate this even further, he uses the example of networks and trees.
Okay.
So imagine a network, like a complex web, where everything is interconnected.
Yeah.
That's the complete picture, the holistic view.
Okay, I'm picturing a web, all the threads connecting different points.
Right.
Yeah.
Now imagine you chop this network at a specific point.
Okay.
Creates a tree.
Okay.
A branching structure unfolding from that point in time.
So the network is the whole,
the
interconnectedness.
Yeah.
And the tree is how we break it down into smaller,
more manageable
pieces.
Pieces, yeah.
It's like focusing on the individual trees in a forest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We need both perspectives.
Right.
The forest and the trees.
To really grasp it.
To grasp the complexity of reality.
Okay.
You can't just get lost in the details. You got to see how it's all connected.
But once you've chopped it up into a tree, can you ever go back?
That's a great question.
Yeah, have you lost that original wholeness?
Varela says to go back, you have to eliminate time.
Okay.
See everything at once outside of that linear progression.
Wow.
It's a mind-bending concept, but it highlights the limitations of our linear time-bound thinking.
So the network exists outside of time.
Right.
The tree unfolds within time.
Within time.
And we need both.
We need both.
To understand it.
To understand reality, yeah.
Okay.
And his star notation helps us see both sides.
Right.
It's a tool for embracing complexity.
Now, I remember Varela using this star logic to reframe some classic dualities.
He did.
But I feel like some of his examples...
Some of them haven't aged well.
Like, they haven't aged very well?
Not so much like intuitive, anthological, or right brain, left brain.
Yeah.
Very much a product of their time.
Yeah.
But the point is...
Yeah, what's the point?
It's to show how these seemingly opposing forces can be seen as a unified whole from a higher perspective. And this leads to how dualities evolve.
Right.
Logically and in time.
Okay.
So Varela contrasts Hegelian dualities and star duality.
Okay.
So Hegelian dualities are based on opposition and negation.
Okay.
Thesis, antithesis, synthesis.
Yeah, classic.
Structure.
A clash of opposites.
Yeah.
Leading to something new.
To a new synthesis.
Okay.
What about star dualities?
What about star dualities?
They're about overlapping and asymmetry.
Okay.
One term emerges from the other.
Okay.
But they both contribute to a larger whole.
So instead of a battle, it's more like a dance.
Yeah.
A dynamic interplay.
Exactly.
Each part shaping the other.
So shaping the other. Yeah.
Okay.
Think of predator-prey.
Okay.
They seem opposed, right?
But they define each other.
They define each other.
Yeah.
No predators, prey explodes.
Right.
No prey, predators starve.
Yeah.
So this seemingly oppositional pair becomes part of a larger system.
The ecosystem.
The ecosystem. And from a star perspective, you have predator-prey interactions leading to the ecosystem.
So this applies to bigger issues too.
It does.
Like political polarization.
Yeah.
Instead of two sides battling.
Right.
What if we understood the web of factors contributing to each position?
Exactly.
Recognizing the interconnectedness.
Yeah.
Seeking that higher level perspective.
Higher perspective.
That encompasses both.
Both sides, yeah.
This brings us back to Bateson.
It does.
His focus on the observer.
Right, and Varela takes this even further.
How so?
He argues that the observer isn't just passively observing, but actively shaping reality.
Okay.
We make distinctions, we draw boundaries.
We choose what to focus on.
We choose our focus.
Yeah, so our observation changes the world.
In a way, yes.
Oh.
He calls this indication.
Indication.
And he argues the observer has three key capacities.
What are they?
Indication, the ability to draw distinctions.
Okay.
Time, the ability to intervene, to make cuts in the network. Okay?
And agreement.
Okay.
The ability to share those distinctions with others.
So we are all co-creating reality.
Co-creating?
Through shared acts of observation and agreement.
It's a powerful idea.
It is. It is.
And this brings Varela back to the mind-body problem.
Okay.
He proposes that mind can be seen as a conversational domain.
Okay.
A pattern of interaction arising from the participants in that conversation.
So mind isn't something locked inside our heads.
No.
It emerges from our interactions with the world, with each other.
Exactly.
It's distributed.
It's distributed, yeah.
But Varela acknowledges
he does.
that this doesn't fully solve the mind-body problem.
Right.
Why not?
Because there's still that mystery of subjective experience.
It's the feeling of what it's like to be a conscious being.
Yeah. How do you explain that?
That's the big question.
He calls it the unaccounted residue.
Unaccounted residue. Okay.
Admitting that his model so far
doesn't fully address it.
Doesn't quite get there.
So where does he go from there?
Well, he introduces another star.
Okay.
This time with being on one side.
Okay.
And knowledge on the other.
Being knowledge.
He's arguing that our understanding our knowledge arises from a background of lived experience.
Of being.
Yeah.
We can't just think our way out of this.
Right.
We have to incorporate that felt sense of being.
Of lived experience.
That lived experience.
And Varela argues that this requires a shift in experience.
Right.
It's not just an intellectual shift.
Which connects to his interest in meditation.
Exactly. He saw meditation
as a way to cultivate
that shift.
That shift in experience.
Yeah.
But it's not as simple as saying everyone meditate, problem solve.
No, not at all.
These practices are complex.
They are, yeah.
They require careful understanding and guidance.
They do.
So after all this,
yeah,
where does this leave us?
With the mind-body problem.
With the mind-body problem, did Varela crack the code?
Well, he offers a new way of thinking about it.
Okay.
He moves beyond the traditional dualistic framework, provides tools like star logic to help us understand this complex interplay between mind and body, observer and observed, self and world.
Yeah.
But he acknowledges the mystery at the heart of consciousness.
Okay.
This mystery requires a shift in experience.
Not just an intellectual solution.
Not just an intellectual solution, no.
I love how he leaves us with this challenge.
Yeah.
This call to go beyond our usual ways of knowing.
Right.
And to cultivate a deeper understanding of ourselves.
From ourselves.
And our place in the world.
Exactly.
And this is where it gets really relevant for us today.
Yeah.
He's not just talking about some,
abstract
philosophical problem.
Yeah.
He's giving us a framework.
The framework,
for understanding.
The mess
that we're in. The complex challenges that we face.
Yeah. Climate change, political polarization. You name it.
Yeah.
It's all there.
Exactly. And he's asking us to move beyond those either frameworks.
Those simple
that dominate so much of our thinking.
So much of it.
Yeah.
Instead, he's like, look,
pushing us.
See the interconnectedness.
See
how our actions ripple out and affect the whole system.
It's not just about changing our minds.
It's about changing our way of being.
Changing our way of being in the world.
Exactly.
Recognizing that we are not separate.
We're not separate.
From the problems we're trying to solve.
The problems, no.
We are part
of the system.
Our thinking, our actions.
They all contribute.
Contribute to the complexity.
Absolutely.
Which brings us back to Bateson.
It does.
Ethics and responsibility.
It's not enough to just understand these systems.
Right.
We have to take responsibility.
We have a responsibility to act. And that responsibility
goes beyond just individual action.
It goes beyond that,
It's about engaging in dialogue. In conversation with others who might hold different viewpoints. Not to try and convert them.
Not to convert them, no.
Or force them to see things our way.
No, but
to genuinely try to understand where they're coming from, how their perspective fits.
Into the larger picture.
Exactly. So it's like Varela's conversational domain.
Yeah.
But on a societal level. Instead of these different viewpoints.
Yeah.
Battling it out. We need to find ways
to bring them together.
To bring them into conversation.
To
understand the underlying patterns and processes.
Yeah, the underlying patterns.
That give rise to these differences. Practices like meditation.
Oh, yeah.
Which Varela was so interested in. Can be so helpful. They can be incredibly helpful.
In this process.
They
can help us cultivate the awareness.
The
openness. To really listen to and engage with. Perspectives that might challenge our own. So if you're listening to this, what are the key takeaways? I think Varela gives us two powerful insights. First, a new way of thinking about
About the relationship.
The relationship between
mind and body.
Mind and body, ourselves and the world.
Yeah.
It's not about one dominating the other.
Right.
It's about this dynamic interplay.
A dynamic interplay.
This constant process of co-creation.
Yeah.
And second, he challenges us.
Yes.
To go beyond just intellectual understanding.
To go beyond the intellectual.
He's saying if we really want to grasp this.
To really grasp and comprehend.
We need to cultivate a shift.
A shift in our experience.
In our
way of being.
In the world.
Exactly.
So that leads us to a final question. For you to consider.
Yeah.
If our understanding of the mind-body problem.
Yeah.
And by extension, so many of the challenges we face today.
Yeah. All the shift.
Requires this kind of experiential shift.
Requires a shift.
What practices or approaches could facilitate this shift?
This shift in your own life.
It's a good one. It's a question worth reflecting on.
Yeah.
That might lead you down some
fascinating paths.
Of discovery.
Yeah.
And remember, this deep dive was just a glimpse. Into one aspect of Varela's thinking.
Yeah.
There's so much more to explore.
So much more.
Especially his later writings.
Yeah.
On embodied cognition and neurophenomenology.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff.
So if this conversation has sparked your curiosity, dive deeper.
Dive in.
Into Varela's work.
Yeah.
See where it takes you. You might be surprised by what you discover.
Yeah, you might be surprised.
Until next time. Keep exploring. Keep questioning.
Keep questioning.
And keep diving deep.
Keep diving deep.